Hello and welcome once again. Now we're going to talk about the number 8G in the Matchbox 1 to 75 range. This is the Di Tommaso Pantera, iconic classic Italian sports car. And what we have here is a selection of the Panteras. I'll quickly talk about the boxes first. I'll move on to this one a bit later in the post, so we'll concentrate on these four first because this was the first issue. So only the J style box, okay. Had quite a long production run, the Pantera, 74, 75 until the sort of late 70s. They didn't develop a K box for it or an L box, so it just stayed in the J. Why that was, look, we just don't know. So just the J box, and just a couple of variations to talk about is the with new text and without the new text. That's all I managed to find. It may exist with the not recommended for children text across here. It may well do, but I haven't seen it. Okay, as you know, I'm all about matching model to box artwork. So we'll talk about this one first because that basically does that. White body, Pantera bonnet label, number 8 Pantera side labels, blue base, and as you can see that completely matches the box artwork. Albeit, as you can see from this, the windows do show like a purple tint. Okay, now that might just be artistic license. It could be, because of this sort of purpley dark red background. That the artist wanted to reflect that into the windscreen. So for me it satisfies matching box artwork. Now guys, look, if you've got one with purple windows, then tell me about it. I've never ever seen one, and I really don't think that exists. But in the Matchbox world, I always never say never, because I've had things in my collection. I've seen things come to the market, you think, my God, that shouldn't exist, and it does. So if you've got it with purple windows, how very exciting. A couple of variations to talk about as well is this one here. This is without the side labels, same bonnet label, and these were labels. They were still using labels rather than tampo printing. This later one had tampo prints, which we'll talk about in a minute. So you'll see the Pantera with and without the side labels. This one is different because it has the red interior, same blue base, and the one in top left, okay, same colour scheme, but it's got the sun bonnet label. Now, they may have used the sun bonnet label. That's quite a popular label of choice. It appears on quite a few models actually, because it's possibly they run out of ordinary Pantera labels. Also comes with an unpainted base as well, so there's variations there. And the Pantera is a model that you could have a good couple of handfuls of variations there. A few wheel variations. So you've got the unpainted base, label variations, interior variations. I've added 3. That was okay for me. So we'll move on to the pink version here, which, as I said, is the pre-production model. And there's the main view of that. Now, obviously, you can clearly see a dazzling sort of bright pink, very 70s colour, with a black interior and a black base. So completely and totally different from the standard production issue. In fact, the only thing that was the same was basically the clear glass. There's the reverse shot there, and we'll have a look underneath as well. Okay, and with pre-production models, there is normally a casting difference to either the base or the body. There's normally something different. On this one here, you will see that the date stamp only reads 197. A lot of pre-productions have an incomplete date stamp, and it's generally how to authenticate a pre-production model. However, our friend in Greece, Nick Steele, does replicate this sort of thing, because he categorically refuses to stamp his models that they're his creation with a code 3, whatever it is. He replicates the rivets. These models, these recreations, fool people. They slip onto the market, okay, and people are paying a lot of money for a pre-production that isn't actually a pre-production. Now, you'll ask me, well, how can he do this? Well, first of all, okay, what he does with this number here, he takes an ordinary model and he destroys it. Okay, he strips the paint off. he grinds off that number 7 there. Sorry, because normally this would be date stamped with 1975, whatever. So he'll grind the number 5 off, and because it's a black painted base, okay, he can then spray over that, and you won't be able to tell the difference, or it'll be very, very hard. What you can do, because he hasn't perfected his paint techniques, and I shouldn't be telling him this, is that with his painted models, you can get the edge of your thumb, scrape it along an edge, and if it's one of his, the paint will flake off. On an ordinary Matchbox model, it won't flake off. So be wary of that. Also, you're going to say, well, hang on a minute, this has got a black interior. You're right. How's he going to do that? Is he painting it? No, he's not. He's got an actual sort of moulding or 3D printing machine. So again, he destroys a model and replicates a Lesney interior to any colour he likes. Okay, so a few years ago, before he was doing this, we could say as dealers and collectors, this is obviously a pre-production model because of these features. Now you've got to be very, very careful. Okay, so when he's creating something, look, and I'm not criticising you guys that buy from him and spend $40 or $50 on one of his creations. That's fair enough, but it's the people that are buying them third party, okay, that are selling them on as originals, and people just don't know. So if you do get offered one of these for good money, do your homework, okay, check provenance, speak to people like me. My email address is all over the place, okay. Guys, contact me. I'll tell you what to look for. You tell me where you buy it from, and we'll try and stamp this out. So Nick Still, do the right thing and mark your bases, please, because you're not helping. But there's also other bad things about this guy, which I'll share for you in later posts, which I nearly got bitten by as well. So I'm coming to that. So back to the pan. Enough of talking about that idiot. Here we'll go back to the Pantera. And you'll see top right here, this, I said earlier it doesn't come in an L box. Well, it doesn't, but this is a later issue produced in the early 80s, and it's still a Lesney product, but it was one of them models they made in Hong Kong, and it is stamped Hong Kong on the base. Okay, I included the Hong Kong models in my range because their picture boxes I thought were stunning. I really like the Hong Kong picture boxes. So it is the same casting. It's stamped in Hong Kong. They moved on to Tempo prints. They've gone away from labels, but it's just a nice model to have in that sort of matching box art as well. This was a model that I had as a kid, owned as a kid. And I still remember it, going to WH Smith's in Camberley in Surrey, and picking it off a peg on, it was on a hang pack. It was a hang pack model. Paid 15 pence for it. Got one of those funny memories. And yeah, so that's a model that I bought in a hang pack. And what I'll do, I will quickly move on to the Rover. And here we are, because for an individual post, there's not too much to say about this. So there's the Rover. This is the 8H and I that superseded the Pantera. Now you're going to say, look, this model isn't very well represented in my collection, and you're right, it's not. But I've just matched the model to the box artwork, and that satisfied my needs really as a collector. And look, there's quite a few variations of this, and I've had actually several pre-production ones of these. I had a blue one, I've had a silver one, I've had the rare yellow one. But as a collector, I just wanted it to match the box artwork. And then the last gasp of it was the police version, which didn't come in a picture box. It only came in this like window style box. But I know people do put that model in that box, and I know somebody, the guys that do reproduction boxes have actually produced an L box to match that model. And it's actually quite nice, actually, but not for me, because I don't have anything reproduction. So that covers the Rover, and then we'll move on to the next model post. So thanks ever so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.